G'day and welcome to Sports Talk. Today my name is Harry and today I'll be talking with Joey, Zach, Jackson and Davo. Today we're going to be talking about the greatest sportsmen in our favourite sports. Right now we're in the Nazareth podcast studio and we're going to be discussing lots including who we each think is the greatest sportsman and why. We're going to start with the greatest sportsman in F1, then go on to the greatest sportsman in cricket and finishing with the greatest sportsman in football. But first, we'll be chatting about the greatest sportsman in soccer. Over to you, Joey.
It was a beautiful night at Camp Nou for the 2015 Copa del Rey final, Barcelona versus Athletic Bilbao, and this is a game that would be remembered forever. It is tied 0-0 in the 20th minute into the game, and Lionel Messi receives the ball on the right wing, and he has three players pressing him. Most players would pass the ball, but Messi decides to dribble past them and score a wonder goal from an angle that nobody would ever think to shoot from. Analysts after the game said that Messi had a 20% chance of scoring. Messi also has scored the most goals in a season across all competitions with 73 goals, which he broke the record for in 2011-2012 season.
Alrighty, Zach. Now, who do you believe is the greatest sportsman in football?
I think Lee Matthews would have to be the greatest footballer to ever step on a football field. His football resume is the best ever, 8 best and fairest, 4 premierships, 915 goals, playing only 332 games. The game that I would like to talk about today that defies Lee Matthews as a player is the 1976 Grand Final, with a crowd of 110,000 people watching. Hawthorn, the underdogs, were playing North Melbourne, the reigning premiers. This was Matthews' greatest game by far, where he had the best on ground medal with 29 disposals and 4 goals. This established Matthews as one of the toughest and most fearlessly brutal players in the competition at the time. This is why I think he's the greatest to ever do it. The ruthlessness he had on the field was second to none when he played.
Alrighty now, Jackson. Who do you believe is the greatest sportsman in Formula One?
I think Lewis Hamilton is the best sportsman of all time in Formula 1, and the reason I say this is because he has achieved the most and has broken the most world records out of anyone in the world. He currently holds 30 plus records in Formula 1 alone, but there's also a race that sticks out which upholds him being the GOAT. This race that I'm talking about is Brazil 2021, and what happens is that Lewis is starting from the back of the grid in a sprint race, and on average, F1 drivers would overtake 2 to 5 people in a regular race with 60 laps. And Lewis overtook 15 people in a 26-lap sprint race. Keep in mind that day had rain, which would have made it a lot more difficult to drive as well. That's more than half the grid. And the next day, on the actual race day, he should have started P5 where he finished in the sprint. But he was given a 10 grid penalty, and by the end of that race, he won, and that's exactly what he needed to do in order to bring him back into contention for the championship. Also, here's another thing just to add on top of it. Lewis Hamilton has led over 5,400 laps in Formula 1, and that's equivalent to driving the length of the Great Wall of China twice.
Alrighty, so now here, in my opinion, the GOAT of cricket is Don Bradman. Even though he played during the end of World War I and through World War II, there are simply not many cricketers that can compare to him. His best moment by far was in 1930 when in the third test, Bradman walked into Henley as no one was expecting what he was going to do, and he destroyed the English bowling lineup by scoring 334 runs until he got out by Maurice Tate bowling, and then Don Bradman skied it into the air to captain Percy Chapman. There were cheers all round that he was finally out, but he also got a standing ovation in an away stadium, which is somewhat unheard of nowadays, but which shows how good of a player he was. In the Test series, he scored a total amount of 974 runs. He had put England's cricket team to a mockery. If you'd like to hear more episodes from Nazareth Catholic College, you can check them out on their own podcast page. The link is in the show notes for this episode below. This podcast was produced by Jackson, Harry, Joey and Zach from Nazareth Catholic College with Archly Radio and Podcasting. Thanks for listening. Make sure you've subscribed to this channel and hear heaps of other school life stories. Bye!